You're listening to the Cap Stable Podcast, the official podcast of the Brave Collective and the Hero Coalition.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Zora, and welcome to the Cap Stable Podcast. Now with more boom. Let's get this tutorial started. Woohoo!
Hello and welcome to the Cap Stable Podcast, episode 59, recorded November 16th, 2014. I'm your host, Stupid Genius, and together with my co-host, we cover all the news of EVE Online. Joining me tonight, we have Hoots. Hoots, how you doing?
Oh God, you surprised me. I'm pretty good. I'm really tired, but you know what? Like, that's about par for the course. I am great. How about yourself, Stu?
I'm doing well. And also joining us, we have Bach. Bach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. New microphone and all, so good weekend. Everything's doing great.
Great to hear. And also with us, we have Turbo.
Hello. I'm trying to decide on whether or not I should buy a new Mac or just wait for Christmas. I'm not in the same boat as Bach, but I need a new one. It's bad.
All right. And last but not least, Link Theris, how are you doing?
Let's all take a moment, bow your heads, and pray for the losing of my prorator last night, because unlike what most people think I am, I can be a dumbass. Goodbye, prorator. I loved you. I miss you. Besides that, I'm all right.
All right, great to hear. All right, so before we get into what we've been doing in EVE, where did you just come from?
All right, I came from the frozen tundra, the greatest stadium in the United States of America, Lambeau Field.
Football. What is this football you talk about?
How cold was it while you were in the stadium?
You know, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was like what? I think it was like about 20 degrees outside, 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Was it snowing?
No, it wasn't snowing anymore. It snowed last night, and you know that was fine. But no, I was at the Philadelphia Eagles game. If I could talk today, yeah, the Philadelphia game at Green Bay, and the Packers. So you see, once again, the force of righteousness absolutely prevailed, and the Packers won and beat the Philadelphia Eagles 53-20. So that was pretty great, and that was pretty amazing.
All right, great to hear.
I feel you, Hoots. Today, it was so cold here in the LA area. I actually had to put on a hoodie. So cold. So cold.
All right, also outside of EVE, Bach, you mentioned your new mic, so what's up with that?
Yeah, just to get a better accent so you don't always think that I'm just coming from the tundra and I'm one of those barbarians from the north. Yeah, I don't come from that much from the north. I know it's cold in winter, but I'm okay. So that's my real voice. I have a real voice. So enjoy.
All right, so let's go ahead and dig into it. We've already got you on the line, Bach. So, Bach, what have you been up to in the world of EVE?
Still finishing to evacuate all my QTZ market items and put them back to safety in low sec, high sec. And that's a crap load of stuff. But I'm still leaving all the ammo, Tech 1, all the meta items for the market because it's too expensive to track them back. And I've been trucking and crapping more trucking. And I was listening to Frank Sinatra, most of my trucking with all the usuals, Fly Me to the Moon, and all those ideas about floating in zero-G. So that was good time, even if it was crap trucking. And the week was crap for exploration. Bad exploration sites, bad data sites, bad relic sites, basically no money. That's one of those low weeks. But I made the good money on the market. So I used some spikes in the market to flip my stock of components and rebuy the Moon Goo to rebuild that stock. So I made good money on that. And I gave an API class on how to make spreadsheets and talking about what CCP should be doing and reading about what CCP is doing for Crest and opening the historical Eve market data. So I'm planning to update my industry spreadsheets, and so more work ahead, but that's good work. Or more information is always better when you're playing the market and when you're playing industry.
Great to hear. And also, Lank. Sorry, let me check. Yeah, Lank.
So
What have you been up to in the world of Eve?
So before I start, Bach, I have a recommendation for your listener, for your playlist when you're out trucking. Have you ever heard of the song Bubble Pop by a little girl named Yuna? It's one of Hoots' favorite. It absolutely totally broke him.
That is one of my favorite. Yeah, that's the song that officially killed dubstep, as far as I'm concerned.
Dubstep and K-pop.
I'm going to give you pony songs if you continue to complain.
What are you talking about? Pony songs?
Yeah, pony songs. What?
More pony songs, better pony songs. But anyway, so all I have to is, hi, hello, all you new recruits have recently joined AIU. Don't worry, I'm here to help, and I will surely get you all killed. So I've been dealing with a big wave of new recruits to the Corp. So I'm having the talk with them, the Eve talk, and it's the talk that you want to have, that uncomfortable silence of, so what do you want to do in Eve?
Is that the talk when a mommy spaceship and a daddy spaceship gets together and they love one another very much?
And they poop out a new pod and a new capsuleer is born. Yes, and trying to explain to people that one of the greatest things about Eve is that you can do whatever the hell you want. But one of the problems with Eve is you can do whatever the hell you freaking want. And there's no clearly defined off-ramps or signs or roadmaps. Just the opinions of other space nerds who are all going to sit there and tell you you're doing it wrong. And I provide them a shoulder to cry on and a ship for them to fly and heartfelt sentiments whenever they finally get blown up. So I'm a giver. So besides that, as you've already heard me say, I lost my prorated last night because the client froze on me during a jump. So there is no worse sensation logging back in just to see your ship die in slow motion and not being able to do a damn thing, except for the fact that they also get your pod and kill you in slow motion. Sigh. So I already petitioned it with the CCP, but I'm not expecting much help there because I've never gotten a ship back after a client crash. So, oh well. So that, and today I got stuck doing housework while you guys were having fun losing your crap to the PL super mega fleet, which we'll talk about much later on today. And also, Hoots, I blame you. I blame you for turning Eve on Live into Civ 5 in space. Because we need more freaking resources.
I'd say it's less like Civ 5 and more like Settlers of Catan, right? Because
I hated that game.
I need more wood. Who has wood?
Sheep for wood. Anyone?
Oh man, the once mighty explosion prone is busy carting crap around space. Moongoo, anyone? Moongoo? But I'm done with that. So, next person.
Hold on. Sorry, 1 sec. Lank, you're peaking really bad. I don't know if you're really close on your mic or if you're something got cranked up, but most of the time you talk is fine, but when you raise your voice at all, it starts to really distort.
Then I will pull back whenever I raise my voice. That sounded dirty. Again.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, guys, how about that story narrative in Eve? Because I've been playing the new Warcraft expansion, and damn.
How is World of Warcraft these days?
It is packed right now. There's tons of people on from the guild, and it's just I was on when they turned the server switch on to be able to go to Draenor, and I was looking at every bit of 200 people on top of one person at any given time when I was going through a mission. And if you had to click on something, you better hope that you can click on it through a Tauren that is 60 foot tall on his giant mammoth mount. Also, I can fly a Viator and an Occator, but I've been bad and I've not been using them just because I've not had time. But at least I didn't lose it. How about that, Lank?
Shut up. 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 I loved you, Night Train. I loved you so much.
Wait.
Should've had-
You named your ship Night Train.
I did name my ship Night Train.
Hold on. Now, Night Train, I gotta refresh my memory. Like, Night Train, like the Guns N' Roses, like, song, or Night Train. What else am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the Guns N' Roses song, aren't I?
Indeed, you are. And
Okay.
maybe, but then again, you are talking about a guy who has a noctis named Huggy Bear. So
All right. Just checking.
Shouldn't have been flying a Mar. That's all I can say. What have you been into, Hoots?
I don't actually play this game anymore. I ditched the strat up to go to a Packer game. I did, like, at the same time listen in to a council meeting, which was pretty hilarious. But no, I have been slowly moving my carrier, and I moved my Rorqual one night post Phoebe because I was dumb and didn't move it pre Phoebe, and then I've been moving my carrier to I don't even know where, and like I have the client open right now, and I'm debating if I should light a Sino, but there are 12 newts in system, and I don't have a ship to replace the Sino ship with, so that's probably a bad idea. Other than that, there was one other thing, but I honestly don't remember what it is. Yeah, so I think that's really been it. I am and have been still debating for like the past month and a half now, what I'm going to do whenever I do have free time in Eve to actually make ISK for myself. And I've bounced around a couple of ideas, and I think I've settled on scamming corp mates. So if anyone wants to send me ISK, I promise I'll double it. No takers here?
This deal gets worse and
If it's
worse all
cheaper.
the time.
Look at my
okay.
wallet. My wallet's empty. Oh noes.
That's unfortunate.
That's not what I heard. A certain Wolfie told me that there's a decent amount of ISK in your wallet.
How does he know that? This is Wolfie after all.
I don't know. He's got spies or something.
He was bragging about how he gave you so much ISK.
Oh yeah, because that went to the corp. Goober. Like I would skim off the top. The benefit of my corp mates.
He was
Actually,
saying,
I think I have
"See,
embezzled
now."
money. I should probably
just-
deposit ISK back.
You've reversed embezzled money, you goober.
No, I'm pretty certain I accidentally bought an Eagle with corp funds once because I didn't uncheck the checkbox. So I should probably fix that. But Stu, what have you been up to?
It's been exactly 0 days since I last moved Moongoo. Actually, it's been less than 2 hours since I moved Moongoo. Because Hoots keeps getting on my case about moving stuff to HiSec so that we can actually get ISK into coffers before we actually have to pay out things and so forth. So that's what I've been working on this past weekend, is trying to get Sino wallets in position, jump accordingly, watch out for jump fatigue, which with the jump freighter is not terrible. I was able to jump back and forth, back to back, and 3 times without with like a 2-minute timer cooldown, and that only left me with about a half-hour jump fatigue. And so by the time I'm done with this podcast, I'll be good to go ahead and continue jumping. So that's kind of cool.
God, you make it sound like I'm such like a slave driver.
Do you have evidence to the contrary? Because I have evidence to the positivary. I don't know what that means. The opposite of contrary is.
To the later, in that case.
I'm
That
just
word.
saying. I mean, I just asked you nicely if you'd like to move it.
No, I've had a task on my list that's been overdue for like 4 days to tell me to move stuff.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, when Hoot says politely asking, he's really meaning it that he's holding the business end of a shiv aimed at your throat.
And besides that, I've been having way too much fun with Slackbot auto responses, especially giving silly responses when everybody mentions Hoot's name in our little back channel. So
Okay.
Putin von Putin. All hail Putin von Putin.
Here's the thing. I am okay with all of that, and I am okay with you guys. So for those of you, because this is really inside baseball, a lot of people that play Eve use like a variety of out-of-game services like Jabber or, I don't know, IRC clients. Chat channels to communicate outside of game. Our corporation uses a newfangled service called Slack, and there's a bot that you can configure to send out automatic responses over Slack. And apparently it was really funny for someone to use my name so that whenever anyone would ping me on this service, the Slack bot would give like an auto response, and then usually like my name would be included in the auto response, so it would ping my phone twice and I'd have like 80 bajillion messages, and that was kind of annoying.
So the moral of the story is always spam your corp CEO.
I was wondering about that, if you could have Slackbot start a never-ending chain.
As far as I can tell, Slackbot won't reply to itself, so you still have to have a user trigger it, and then it will just reply to that. So, like, I'll say, if I say hoots in something, and then it would reply back with whatever predetermined response, such as "he who shall not be named," or "Hooten von Putin," or "you're walking a thin line there, buddy," or something like that. Then Hoots would get one ping, but if you included Hoots' depending on how Hoots has his notification set up, he'd get another ping if you had Hoots in it. So that was. I did have a little fun though. I think we have a bunch of like keywords like Moongoo and spreadsheets that I think Turbo and some other people set up to have some fun with the Slack bot every now and again. But besides that, managing PI chains, because that has to be done, and I'm getting to the point now where I pretty much will set my chains about every 3 days to just go, and then I'll pick up every 2 or 3 cycles. So once the storage container thingy or storage facility starts to fill up, which usually takes about 6-ish days using the planets I have, because unfortunately they're not a huge producer, but they're convenient, they're close, and I don't have to work too hard to get it. So those are all good pluses for me. And besides that, managing some AIEU stuff in the background. Didn't do too much in Eve this week as far as like flying and shooting and any kind of fun stuff like that, unfortunately. The one thing I did do, and I will save most of the discussion for later because we're going to talk about it, I did watch the cap brawl between PL and Heroes Caps, or the dunking, or however you prefer to call it, on a stream, and was kind of getting a play-by-play from Bach and some of our other corp mates who were there, because I was in the middle of jumping when that started and I wasn't able to join. But that was quite an interesting thing to watch on the stream, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Community news this week, we have Eve Down Under again, 21st to the 23rd in November. Check that out in Sydney. And
I swear we've been talking about Eve Down Under for 3 months now. You should go if you live in the Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think we've been talking about it since Eve Vegas, so that's not too bad. And also JJ Foley's Cafe and Bar in South Boston, Saturday, that same weekend, Saturday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. I'm going to assume that's Easter time, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. And other than that, we're going to go head on to our tip or tool of the week. And our tip of the week is actually a tool this time. It's a website. It's kind of untraditional, or not traditional. It's plug.dj, and that is a website, if anybody's familiar with turntable.fm, that used to be around, that got closed down. So plug.dj is a new one that came around where you play YouTube videos, and playing the YouTube videos allows you to play music videos. And so you can play any music videos you can find on YouTube. As we know, a lot of music videos are legitimately posted on YouTube, as well as there might be some nefarious and illegitimate ones. But you can get a lot of a selection there. And if you're like Theris, you have DJ PvP with who can come up with the most trolly playlist. And so the whole point of all this is, if you're going to run a fleet, it's a great thing to put into your MOTD of your fleet early on. Then you can have music going, everybody can have fun playing music, and you can put it up to everybody in the fleet to join if you want, and they can all join as DJs, and they can choose what music they're listening to. So the fleet is a little bit more enjoyable, and it keeps people entertained, when, especially on those strat ops or those structure bashes where you're just sitting there, shooting, hitting F5 or whatever, or excuse me, F1.
Or you're even doing some shipping, because you know a lot about that, don't you?
Yeah, I know a thing or two about that. I did that quite a bit this afternoon. Actually, I went into a plug.dj channel, one of our AIE ones, and one of the person was in there, but they weren't DJing, so I was just pretty much solo DJing. But it was just music I was listening to and letting that run while I was moving stuff around and prepping to get stuff moved around and so forth. So yeah, it's great. And with that, I think we'll move into the news.
Warning, 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 this is important. This is the news. It is super important, or at least dramatic.
So first up, PL is now mostly hunting in subcaps for the supposed good fights, but let me start that all over again. So sorry about that, Stu. So first off, PL now is mostly hunting in subcaps for their supposedly
Hold
good
up.
fights.
You're
What?
peaking again. You're either too close to your mic or you're talking too loud.
All right, let's try that again. One, third time's the charm. So first up, PL is now mostly hunting in subcaps for the supposed good fights, but losing 1 billion ISK per pod to Atrons, or basically how a 1 million tackle is much cheaper than the ammo you used in your ship.
I feel like that's great propaganda for every little tackle bro, new bro out there flying tackle. You can get a tackle on a 1 billion SD pod.
So can we get a little bit of context here as to what's going on? I don't get how is this what's going on? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, the fact that PL has decided for funsies to go ahead and rove New Eden in basically subcap fleets.
Like what are your sources and how is that different than normal? Like what's going on?
Well, so this could be sort of a kill of the week, but we're going to use something else there. But a guy named Johnny Cash from PL was flying around in a Hound, not anything special, 31 million ISK Hound. But then he got popped and he lost a 1.1 billion ISK pod to an Atron fleet of Brave, I believe. Yeah, the defense fleet of Brave. So it's kind of just don't go flying around. I don't know if he didn't realize he was in which head he was in, or you got the wrong clone or something. But it seems like a lot to lose just in one little bomber.
Another thing in the news is don't chill outside in a carrier, because drive-by doomsdays still happen even post-Phoebe. Because, yeah, from what I heard and from what the AAR says, some guy was just chilling on the GE on dock in a carrier. And word is 2 carriers were out playing, and one of them triaged, and the other one was like, nope, and docked up. And there was a fight going on, and a Titan just sinoed in, drove by, shot him, then warped off to who knows where. Probably somewhere they got a nice little set of safes up. But yeah, don't leave your carrier on the undock, because that's a bad idea, at least when it's triaged.
So this week in the news, there's after action report about BPA or ex-friends of Black Pearl Alliance. They tried to ninja transfer the SOV to AAA, and they failed. Again, as usual. So that was kind of expected. They were going to do something with their SOV, because there was no BPA members present in their systems for weeks. And they were just finishing their last batch of caps and supers and moving out everything after delivering to their last customers. But they tried during Australian time zone to transfer SOV. So they dropped SOV and AAA was on site. But Brave is not stupid. Brave has the people. So a Brave fleet, a small fleet, formed up. They delayed AAA long enough to have people coming, logging in, and out of the 3 systems of VPA, 2 of them, Brave got them easily. So 6BPS-T has been taken by Bovril, and 25S-6P has been taken by Bloodline, with some help from of Sunmine. And they did their usual hat trick and a small video about that event. And the last system, that Y-PNRL, is still AAA, but Brave is having offensive timers on it. So just log in and shoot AAA out of cache. As usual, again, and again. Perhaps they're going to learn that stop trying to ninja stuff, you're going to get shot in the head. Or if you come, you're going to get shot in the foot, then in the head. So I'm pretty sure, personally, I'm going to ask the crew around here, but I would have given that space to RVB. It would be fun to have them as neighbors in catch. It would be more fun per hour just to have them here and shoot at us, shoot at them, shoot at everything. So why not? Any talks? Any things about that?
Yeah, I mean the RVB gang goes around all the time, and I think they're pretty ingrained into high sec. The red and blue corps or alliances, whichever they are. But if they had like a offshoot out here, that'd be pretty cool.
So in Hero Coalition, I guess you could call it Drama Llama news, although it's not really terrible Drama Llama. Almost Awesome, which goes by the ticker, and Stu's gonna kill me. No so it's NOX. They left Hero, and they formally left the Hero Coalition. Long story short, they've left on good terms as far as the coalition leadership is concerned, so don't try to kill their jump freighters as they evac. But yeah, see you around, guys. 7-0.
Peace out. So the next story comes from Reddit, and actually a response to a revelation by Grand Lord Space Tyrant Mittens, where he talks about how evidently that Brave Alliance was offered Delve. Turbo, Brave Alliance was offered Delve. Can you fill in on some of that information?
I have no idea about that. That is crazy that they were offered Delve, but I kind of understand why they wouldn't have took it, because
Okay. And I can offer some light on that. Why would we take Delve if we know that a week later NC Dot was going to try and move in? That sounds like a really bad deal.
Yeah, it sounds like we were going to be a shield buffer for CFC to kind of get a little bit of a jump on the other people that are going to try and hit them, possibly.
What I'm remarking about is the rather incendiary choice of words to describe how this all went down. Hoots, can you fill us in?
Yeah, absolutely. The long story short is on the Matani, their live show that they do. Mittens essentially basically stated that, we refuse to state it because of what was the exact quote? It was dithering and piddling and dumb leadership due to the council structure. So no, and well, first of all, the Council of Newbie Management, which is kind of a pseudo leadership structure for Brave, it's not even really the executive decision maker of Brave Alliance. That is pretty much Lichten and his immediate directors. The as far as I'm concerned, as one of the sister corp CEOs, the Council of Newbie Management is just a meeting that we get together on every Sunday to kind of all be on the same page with where things are at. And there's a little bit of having the council meetings give you the advantages of pluralism and of a pseudo democratic process where you have multiple voices so you don't get a terrible echo chamber. But this had nothing to do with dithering leadership. I'm pretty sure that you know what? And here's the great thing: the council proper, I don't think knew about the decision to receive Delve. That was, or just the offer. I'm pretty certain the Brave leadership and the directorship found the decision, or kind of looked at the offer and made a decision when they had to. And yeah, the ineffective council leadership had nothing to do with that at all.
Well, could one surmise that this is potentially the CFC propaganda machine or metagame machine in full swing?
Well, what I generally enjoy is how, again, true to nature, like we've stated before, it's always great to have everyone telling you're doing it wrong. You should be playing it this way, and giggling maniacally as you do you just do the absolute opposite of what they tell you should be doing.
No, especially when they want you to come to be a buffer, so you get punched from the angry Russians, and when you're done with it, you get punched by them because they need content. No thanks, I'm good. I like being squeezed, but not too much. In other news, tonight we had a big timer in F4R2-Q. We had a station timer, and that's our big station in east of Catch, so that was very important. And the result is PL brought supers and titans and more supers and more and more and more. And they still lost the station timer. They lost a few supers and they almost lost the Ragnaros. So the PL Ragnaros, initially they only left one titan to say, ooh, we're PL. Nobody's going to attack you with one titan. So we came in, we shot him. He was at 50% structure, burning all his resist modules, trying to survive. And PL basically logged all their ults. And they came back with 32 additional titans and 67 super caps. They brought more super caps than we had caps in the system. Just to save one titan, they're that desperate not to lose one toy. So that's pretty bad. We have a lot of pictures, and Brave considers it a victory because we made them jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. So they're going to enjoy their fatigue for a few days or weeks. We, as Brave, has lost the East War because we lost 33 dreads. But freaking, who cares? We got the giggles and we almost killed the Titans, and at PL have to platform themselves and get back subscriptions for their Titanals because, if they need 33 Titans and 67 super caps to fight Brave. We have a battle report. It's kind of nice, but that's kind of bad for PL. For Brave, they have to bring that many people for one freaking timer. What's going to be the future?
Well, I mean, to play devil's advocate, they did win the ISK war. So they approximately 138, according to the current battle report, billion ISK lost on the Hero Coalition side to only, it actually went down from before, 4.1 billion ISK on the PL side. So, that's a pretty substantial difference. I mean, that's as much as it's an I win button to bring in caps or super caps, and to I guess you could say look bad, bringing those in on a subcat fleet or mostly subcat fleet until the dreads came in for the Ragnarok. Still, they still won the ISK war, and I realize that ISK war and kill boards aren't everything, but that is a big thing. I mean, that's a substantial amount of money for a alliance and coalition such as Hero that is new and doesn't have as many money moons and vast empires that CFC and so forth have.
Yeah, I agree, but it's not the fight against Brave. Everybody knows that when PL wants to erase Brave and catch from the map, they can whenever they want. But if they are that afraid to lose one Titan, they're never going to go after CFC, whatever their CEO is saying. They're never going to go against N3 or AAA or whatever. That's bad for their future. That's bad for their morale if they have to dunk that much crap on Brave. I fully agree that they had to save Ragnarok, but you don't need to bring that much. It's not even overkill. It's 10 times overkill.
Yeah, so, as I said, I wasn't in system. I was watching on Twitch, and it was quite interesting to see it. The streamer had a very good point of view. He was not on either party. He was a neutral party. He was just streaming. And it was quite interesting because he happened to be on grid when the Titans jumped in and started doomsdaying. So he had a good, really great view of that. So I will link that in the show notes if you want to check out that video. One other thing on a slightly different note, PL did capture 1P-WGB rather in catch earlier this week as prior to the F4 fight. And that was because apparently Brave doesn't know how to form up and correctly and to set their timers accordingly. I guess the story is that they really don't know how to keep track of today or tomorrow, the next day, whatever. So they had some confusion on when was what timer and so forth, and it fell through. And so by the time they got in system, PLR had already taken the system. So good job.
We didn't want that entry system anyway.
And I think with that, we'll head into the big talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the big talk. I take no responsibility for what these idiots are about to say.
So this week is going to be a little bit different than the previous week. Sometimes we kind of get spotlighted very specific things. This one's going to be a little bit more generic as like a tip for new players. So the scenario we're going to be talking about is I'm a new player, and what's my goal in EVE? What's the end game? What's the thing I should be working towards? How can I, have fun in this game and also kind of experience everything there is, or most of the things in EVE And I'm going to put this out to Lank first and to get a little feedback on what he thinks is some of the things we should do.
So this is going to sound really odd and kind of counterintuitive. People generally will jump into a new game and, they want to do this and they want to do that and they want to get an end game. But what do you do when you're in a game that doesn't have end game? The best advice I've got for a brand new player is to kind of sit back, try to survey what's around them. Do an awful lot of like research and reading about who does what, who does where, what are they flying, what are the different activities. You might find out that you may want to try out this scamming thing. You may want to try ganking. You may actually enjoy mining and staring at a screen for hours on end, shooting space rocks. You might want to go into small gang PvP, larger group PvP, blob PvP. Is it high sec? Is it null sec? Is it low sec? Take some time to look what's around there. It might take you a little while, but don't try to rush it and just kind of enjoy the ride and find out, I like this, I don't like that. I despise wormholes, but I love faction warfare. That's probably the best advice that I can give a brand new player.
And then also, who's just going to give us some additional tips on what to look for and look forward to in EVE as a new player?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the show notes here, and I'm looking at the header here, and I have no idea what it means. But you know what I think it means is EVE is kind of a very lonely game to play alone. It's actually a really terrible game to play alone. And kind of the thing you want to do when you're starting out in EVE is you want to find a group of people to play with. That should be one of your top priorities. Like just the interaction with people in EVE Online is so it's so, like, I guess, paramount to this game and kind of making the game what it is, that at least for myself, the vast majority of what I do now doesn't even involve EVE anymore. And that's scary because I'm becoming one of those people. But by that same token, just interacting with people and putting yourself out there and getting to know kind of the other people that play EVE with you is so much a part of this game that ignoring that part as a new player, I think, is you're kind of missing out on a whole lot of opportunities.
Can I add a little bit to that? And
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I actually reference Lockfox, who once used the term anarcho-capitalistic game, and that the fact that you get out, not necessarily proportionally, but you get out from the game what you put in, and that the fact that this game does reward the thrill seekers, the socialites, the people who go out there and get to know and start creating a large network of, or a pool of people to play with. This pool to play with may not necessarily be permanent. It could be for a day, it could be a week, it could be for a month, it could be for a year. But always being able to have your options open and seeing, hey, I see what you're doing, I want to do that instead, and just hop in the boat and go trying that out.
For me, probably the first question you should ask any new EVE player is, what would you like your new shiny space coffin to look like? Because you're going to die. You're going to die in whatever ship you buy sooner or later. Because, like said it a bunch, you can repeat it as many times as you want. There is an invisible timer on every single ship that will run out one day. And when it runs out, that ship is gone. And there's not much you can do about it. And if you're very unlucky, you'll get potted. And you might as well go out in guts and glory. But sometimes it happens in an Ibis, and then sometimes it happens in a carrier. And you just got to pick on what you want to have the most fun in.
Sometimes it happens in a Pro Raider.
My taking on that is that there's no single answer. Every answer is a good answer. Some people like whatever. Everybody's unique. Everybody's unique each week. What you choose today can be something different that you're going to do in 3 months. So personally, I would tell you, first find people that you want to play with, because it's a social game. And without social, you're not going to play the game long. Second, find some short-term goal. Learn the game, explore. Even if you die or if you get scammed or whatever, it's part of the game. You have to learn the game. It's a sandbox. So the sandbox is infinite in all directions. If you don't like it here, if you don't like what you're doing, just go somewhere else or do something else. And just discover what you like. And what you like today could be different from what you're going to like in 6 months. It's no problem. There's no limit on time and cap or whatever. You're not losing your time by learning. Just learn and enjoy the game. That's fun per hour. That's what Brave is about. That's what I would recommend. If you really don't know, just come join us. Come to catch, blow up stuff, be blown up, have fun. It doesn't really matter about what's going to happen now or in the future. And just learn the game. It's a very complex game. You need people around you. You need some help. So come get it here.
And kind of continuing on Bach's point, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, especially around tech and startups, and a common phrase is FOMO, or fear of missing out. And I would say that don't be afraid of missing out on something, because the way that Eve is, there's always going to be something around the corner, no matter what it is. So, like Bach said, find a short-term goal, and I kind of relate. I relate to that, and I think some of the other guys here, Lank and Hoots and so forth, relate to that, because early on we were all in high sec, doing level 4 missioning in stealth bombers back in the day, and so our goal at that time was to do stealth bombers, and then once we hit that goal to do the stealth bombers fairly well with good skills, you then can go up to hot dropping and so forth. And so we worked on all that, and we did it step by step. And usually what you do is you have a short-term goal, and you have a medium-term goal. And you don't necessarily need to have a long-term goal that you're going to stick to. Just have a plan that's something you're going to do. And because Eve is so skill-intensive, because Eve is so based around the skill system, that you're all limited by 24 hours in a day. So you can only train 20 or 23 hours in 30 minutes, whatever the downtime is. And so you have to plan accordingly around that. And it's not like a WoW or something like that where you can go in and just, play really long and play really hard and you're leveled up and you're good to go. So that's something to consider as well, is don't be afraid of missing out on something that's going on somewhere else. Focus on what you're doing. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, if you're not happy with what you're doing, definitely look for other opportunities in Eve. There's a gameplay style for just about anybody in the game. If the game, as a kind of final wrap up thing here is, if you can't find anything fun in Eve and you think you've tried everything, feel free to shoot us an email or something, or we could try to help you out with some of the things that we may know that you may not even know exist if you're a newer player. I hate to say this, but sometimes Eve is just not right for some people. I'm not saying that it's not right for most people, but just some people just don't have as much fun in Eve as they would in other games. And so that's kind of the final thing I was thinking of.
So I've got one more final thing, and this is actually important for folks who come from other types of MMOs, namely the theme park, as they oftentimes refer to, is that in other games, players become very emotionally invested in their avatar, their character. And if your character dies, no big whoop. Just find your body, go at it again. All is great. Well, as you have now hopefully all experienced, Eve's a little bit different. Once your avatar, your ship is gone, it's gone. So being able to snuff out that emotional bond, find it in its little crib, strangulate it, throw it out of the crib, kick it downstairs, throw it under a bus, and then encasing it in concrete and throwing it into the nearest river, you'll be better off, because then you won't take the losses quite as personal. And I speak from experience on that. Everyone's now looking at me going, "What did he just say? Oh my God, we've got a maniac in this podcast."
No, that's true. There's a recommendation for many people doing PvP, which is get a bunch of ships like 8 fronts or whatever, and spend 50 millions in those. You're going to have 60, 70 of them, and just go and have fun. Blow them up. That way, you're not going to be attached.
Oh my God.
Ship is just a ship.
Yeah. Oh my God. One of my actually fondest memories is when I first started out and trying to survive in lowsec and nullsec, and the guys can attest, I bought about 100 rifters. And I fitted them all up exactly the same, and I would go out 3, 4, 5 times on a night and get potted and destroyed and killed and utterly annihilated every night. And I was having a blast, because my personal goal at that point is like, how longer can I survive getting absolutely smart bombed to death on a gate, or trying to avoid this a spider tank like Drake fleet, you run into the weirdest, most moronic situations, and basically, can I live or will I die?
Pew pew pew. The kill of the week. Take that, noob. Ha ha ha.
All right, and kill of the week this week, we have a 14 billion ISK pod. Now, this is pretty interesting because apparently this gentleman is a high-sec incursion runner, and, they clearly don't need to be nerfed or anything. It only had a 14 billion ISK pod and mainly due to some turret pieces. He had one mine link at 6.5 million and another mine link at 4.5 billion. Excuse me. I think I said million before. It's billion and billion. And so, yeah, this guy is, I guess he's well known for flying around very blingy ships. And this is not something you want to autopilot around in HiSec, which apparently he was doing.
So there's a tip for people in HiSec that want to do such kill on people with blingy capsules autopiloting. If you see a capsule which is flying at more than 187 meters a second or a shuttle at more than 625 meters a second, they have implants. And the faster they fly, the bigger the implants. So, blingy, blingy, blingy. Paint me a target, autopiloting through HiSec. That's kind of stupid. That's an easy way, and people know how to recognize those people. And they make such nice kills.
All right, and the kill of the week is an interesting kill mail we have found through our countless hours reading through kill mails. If you have one that you'd like to send us to save us a little bit of searching, feel free to drop us a line, either email it to us or hit us up on Twitter, and we'll check it out. All right, and shout-outs this week. I guess we're going to start off with Bach. So what's your shout-out this week?
Yeah, my shout-out is first to BPA, Black Pearl Alliance. They really need to stop being bad because nobody's going to hire them. Nobody's going to group them. I know they're good at building stuff and building capitals and supers, but don't mess up your freaking transfers and money and all that crap. That looks like being stupid. And as a personal shout-out, I wanted to shout out to Bagay, which is back in Eve, and Because of Phoebe is back. So welcome back. And if Sindel one of those days wants to do one of those Frank Sinatra's parody about Fly Me to the Moon or Come Fly With Me, I'd be very happy because it's my Frank Sinatra week.
All right, and my shout out this week is Test Lines Please Ignore, and it's a very particular shout out in that they've released their fall 2014 propaganda video. I'll drop a link in the show notes. That is, if you haven't checked out a test propaganda video or test recruitment video, whatever you want to call it, definitely suggest you check it out. They always have great music and tons of great visuals that really gets you to kind of enjoy the visuals that is Eve. Sometimes you get kind of stuck in the mundane of the spreadsheets and the grid overview and so forth. And it's nice to see these nice visuals and lots of great video production. And that's our show for the week. Hoots, how can people get a hold of us?
Well, Stu, I am totally glad you asked. We can be found on iTunes and Stitcher, and the RSS feed and the show notes can be found at our website at capstable.net. Stay tuned. Keep looking at capstable.net. We may have a surprise coming in store for everyone pretty soon. Otherwise, our email address is podcast@capstable.net, and we absolutely welcome any and all feedback. Stu, where can you find us on Twitter?
Well, you can find the show at Capstable. You can find myself at _StupidGenius. You can find Langtheris at Langtheris. And you can find Bach at Bach Collective. And you can find Turbo at Turbo Addiction. And if you want to find that slacker Kuda, you can go to at Kuda Timberline. Also, new this week, thanks to our very own Langtheris, he put together a video of this very show. Right now, it's just cover art. If you enjoy it, let us know. We might put some more time and try to see if we can actually get some backgrould video or some kind of shows and get you to see what we're kind of up to.
Bunnies.
I can almost guarantee you it's not ponies. And if it is ponies on there, I will potentially murder Lank. On behalf of Lank, Bach, Hoots, and Turbo, this is Stupid Genius saying thanks for joining us on this episode of the Cap Stable Podcast. Explode hilariously, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great week.
space unicorns with marshmallow lasers.
Go Packers!
What's this football that everyone talks about?
All right, so I have a serious question.
Well, grab it and stick it in there then. That sounded dirty. Dirty.
Grab it and stick it in there. And
Oh, God. The way you said that, it's like, oh.
you know you want to. Grab it. I feel slimy.
Potato. Potato.
And with that, I think we'll...
Sorry. America! Fuck yeah! America! Duper! No.
I came. What just happened there?
Warning.